this is a juggernaut industry. It can drive the economy.
It does. I mean, you just look over the last couple of years, what everybody points to as market indicators. There's no major publication that hasn't been closely tracking the relationship of car sales and its efficiency, its inability to have inventory, the interest rates related to vehicles. There's no major publication that isn't looking at it going, what is it doing? How is the rest of the market reacting?
What are we doing here?
Sitting.
I ask myself that every morning.
What are we doing here?
We're here in Arlington,
Tejas.
ASOTU,
Texas.
Tejas. Yeah. We ate some barbecue. We had some burnt ends.
Burnt
ends. Al.
Our producer thought that was a code word for nasty food.
Yeah, like burnt ribs would be bad. Burnt ends, very good.
Oh, so delicious. Yeah, they were really, that was a cool spot that we were at last night.
It's dope. Right outside the ballpark, a little bit of,
Rangers
sports
Stadium.
bar.
I had no beef with the
fancy.
Rangers. It's a good thing.
Bring me inside how an event like ASOTU X actually gets conceived and then put into motion.
So on a Sunday...
Is that a real question?
So this is what happens. We dream up a big thing. We tell everybody about it. The whole team gets going
And then
on
we
it.
have to do it.
And then on Sunday afternoon at about 2:00, you're watching a soccer game. And you're like, that's not exactly the way we want to do it. So you text your friend Paul and you go, what I was thinking is we would do it this way. You change all the plans on a Monday morning and then you set that in motion. 75 days later, you got 2 shows running.
That's
Basically how it goes.
pretty close. Pretty close. I think the essence of it is that we just do things that we already know people love.
Right.
And concepts we already know people love. We don't start from a saying like, okay, well, what can we imagine or reimagine? We just kind of piece together elements that we know work and that connect with people, and then we just figure out like how can we give it our spin and contextualize it. So we're kind of like a cultural entertainment like DJ.
I was thinking about this on the drive in today. People because I mean for automotive, what's happening with what we're doing here in Arlington, what we did at year-end extravaganza, that's never been done in this space before. There's a lot of events, but this Tonight Show, live talk show, fun, live band, beautiful hall. I mean, this place is awesome.
I mean, we have a skateboard signed by Steve-O from Jackass right next to us as we're recording this. I mean, it doesn't get any higher class than
There's
that.
a bunch of signed guitars by famous people
that we just picked up and started playing without knowing. Yeah.
But I find like human nature, when you're early to something, especially to today's standards, they expect that, the hall is going to be jam-packed, standing room only, et cetera, et cetera.
That's what they told me.
What encourages you to continue to push on, and keep yourself grounded that this is early, we're forging new territory? Yeah. How do you keep yourself motivated?
Well, they do say that a lot of times early looks wrong, and it could be wrong, right? I don't think at this point that we believe, obviously we wouldn't be doing this if we thought it was wrong.
Yeah.
The hope and the desire is that, and as we talk to people, we've been in dealerships the last couple of days. As we talk to people and we start to say, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're starting to explain to technicians and salespeople and receptionists and BDC workers, it's real clear what's going on, right? But to contextualize why go to NADA convention for them, there's no relationship to what they're doing or what their everyday life is. And
the reality is, unless they're in a very small percentage of the industry, they're never going to NADA.
No, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why do it this way. That's why keep pushing the boundaries on the type of content and entertainment that we put out, because we believe that if those people start to engage more broadly across the industry, then both their commitment to it as a career path and their engagement with their community, their friends, their family will be more sticky, because they'll be like, that's my industry. They'll take ownership and have a deep sense of pride of what they're a part of, instead of just, I work at a car dealership,
Yeah. I was shocked. I was reading an article, I think it was Wall Street Journal, one of those similar, if it wasn't that one. And it was talking about how 1 in every 4 jobs in America is tied to the auto industry.
Whoa.
And you think about that. At first, I was
I'm
like,
gonna use that.
We're gonna
yeah,
quote you who quoted somebody.
somebody. I'll find it. We'll put it in the show notes. And that actually took me back. And I realized that my bias is that I only think about retail. But when you start going down the supply chain,
Manufacturers, suppliers.
I go back to a conversation
marketing,
we had with Darren
advertising.
Doan about steel fabricators. And I'm like, there are companies in this industry who only create steel to supply to automakers to create. I'm like, oh, dang. The quick lubes and all the things that we, from the retail bias, speak against, those people are all like, I'm in the car business.
Yeah.
Tire producers, lug nut create, like, there's so many people in the United States that are tied to this industry. And I love what you're saying about be proud to be in. This is a juggernaut industry.
Mm-hmm.
It is a juggernaut. It drives it. It can drive the economy. It is.
It does. It does. I mean, you just look over the last couple of years, what everybody points to as market indicators. There's no major publication that hasn't been closely tracking the relationship of car sales and its efficiency, its inability to have inventory, the interest rates related to vehicles. There's no major publication that isn't looking at it going, what is it doing? How is the rest of the market reacting? And so every car sold, every car serviced, every part, every accessory, every quick change, all of that type of stuff relates to macroeconomy.
And all those publications, Wall Street Journal, Reuters, like they all have sections now on the website that is business, subcategory, autos and transportation.
Wow.
Like it exists now. And it's often on those stories are often the lead stories, or they have been over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Wow. You, over lunch today, you said, I mean, can we reveal that you guys have been on location?
Yeah.
And we've got a new series that you guys have masterminded called...
We haven't actually named it. We have a working title that
never mind.
we're talking about less and less.
Just kidding.
But it's a network style TV show.
Yeah, I love it. I love the concept. But over lunch, you were saying that in one of the conversations you had today, it brought you pretty close to tears. There were some emotions. Can you bring me inside of what that was and why maybe it moved you to that level of, without maybe giving away the whole episode, but why it moved you?
Yeah.
And how does that tie to the whole narrative of automotive and pride in automotive?
Well, I'll give it the context that over the last couple of days, and we were in some really great dealerships, and I would say that a large amount of dealerships have this kind of verbiage coming out of their people that they say, well, it's like family around here. And we've asked multiple times, can you describe what that is? Like, put your finger on why you say it feels like family, or what has happened to you or to those around you that feel like family. And one of the stories that I think was quintessentially what that feels like family. And the punchline basically is there was a difficult situation in someone's life. They walked into another's office and were just in tears. And they said, I just needed my family. And the family was the person at, yeah. And
they meant the other team members of the dealership.
Right.
Wow.
And the impactful story for me is there were two very clear times in the 12 years in retail for me personally where I needed that. And I got that in the moment. And it was really impactful to me that those people came around me. Some were my direct reports, the people that reported to me that were supporting me in life's pain.
Right.
And that's how you can clearly say, yep, that's family. That is how that practically works out, and not just like this ethereal, like, oh, in business we want to be like family, right?
Right.
But there's these practical things. I was talking to one more just example right after that, Matt Jones of TrueCar. TrueCar has been helping us put all of this on here in Arlington, and he said, the time that he spent in the dealership world, because he was there, and he was like, did you know I was a firefighter? No.
Nope.
No, I thought he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, I mean, this guy
Bodyguard,
has tons of history.
builder, body
He was a
double.
firefighter, and he said, no, you don't understand. The same feeling of family, and like when you're a firefighter, you like sleep at the fire department.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He said that same feeling is the same feeling that I had when I was working in a dealership with the people around me.
Whoa.
So so many people have that as a narrative, and I don't think we talk about the how and the why of what the word family means in the industry.
you and I were chatting the other day, and we were talking about really, I think, the underlying mission of ASOTU, Automotive State of the Union. And you said something that's got me thinking about it since we had the conversation. I mean, we were just on a quick FaceTime. It was the end of the day. Actually, I might have been going to the chiropractor. It was the day I put my back out.
Yeah.
We're like, you old fogey. And I thought, that's why we're doing what we do here. This is why I was so excited to come in and be a part of this with the two of you. And you spoke about, okay, well, what the public hears, the only dealer-owned media company in automotive, which of itself is amazing. But then you had some deeper-rooted desires as to why you founded ASOTU. Can you share some of those and map it back to some of the stuff that Kyle's been talking about, family?
Yeah, sure. I'm probably get a little esoteric first. I think we the three of us here understand, and I think a lot of people in the industry, and if you're human, you understand that most of what you do in your life is some level of effort to find where you belong.
Right.
And when you do start to find the places where you belong, sometimes you find it because you like a similar band. And sometimes you find it because you believe a certain thing about life or God or politics or education, right? There are all these little things, or Seth Godin would say, like, you find the other people that like to wear red hats. And now with the internet, you can all get on a bus and go on a trip together in your red hats.
Red Hat Conference.
Right? So that is just the truth of the human condition. And automotive touches so many lives, and lives, therefore, are a bunch of people trying to find where they belong and trying to find their place. And when ASOTU was founded, the pandemic just began and things were closing down, and a lot of people didn't know where they belonged in that moment. And since I was in the auto industry, the people that I rolled with were all across the country.
Yeah.
And so ASOTU was really an effort to just tell people, like, hey, if you're in this industry, you belong here with all the other people who call this industry home. And together, right, we will feel better and understand that we can get through this together. So that's kind of the synthesis of it. But as you boil that down, like, why do we do a Tonight Show style event? Why are we going around filming a network style TV show? Well, we think it's tragic, first of all, that so many people think the wrong narrative about dealers are true. And some of them are, right? Some of them are earned. But the reality is, we know that that place where people belong is actually in this industry. For people who are looking to find some meaning, we heard the word fulfillment come up how many times today at the last dealership we visited?
Literally every person we talked to. It was unbelievable.
Fulfillment. And it's like this connection with the human condition, and as that connects with me, yes, we're in the auto industry and I love the industry, but it doesn't really matter what the industry is. I want my legacy to be someone who brought that sense of meaning and groundedness and purpose to people's lives. And that's going to be in all different shapes and sizes. And the Tonight Show style, I mean, we love music, so part of it is just we're trying to travel around with a band and feel like we're rock stars.
I just love good
now.
Yeah.
I just love good drummers. So. But there's a part of that where I see all these entertainment lanes as very easy on-ramps to get into the highway that's much more substantive. And so I feel like the more on-ramps we can build and the easier it is, we can get people from the very entry level of the dealership world into an industry and places that really care for them, that really make them feel fulfilled. And when people get a hold of that, I think the world is your oyster. When people get a hold of that and that starts to compound, we just have to show people that it's here. And Donald Miller, one of my favorite authors, New York Times bestselling author, he has a book called Blue Like Jazz. And the book opens with a story, and he goes, jazz music doesn't make sense to so many people, and you almost can't appreciate jazz music until you watch someone appreciate it, and they teach you how to appreciate it. So there's an effort, like the work we're doing here, even on this podcast, and I know you've been on this track for a long time, Michael, and Kyle, you've been on this track for a long time, like leading in the stores. I feel like we're coming together to show people how to appreciate jazz. And once they do, it's going to be like headphones on. That was the wrong trigger pad. That's the punchline. No, but here's the deal. And when we do that, you think of people who appreciate jazz, and it's like, eyes closed, they're feeling the music,
Yeah.
and they're just transported to this place where they're like, now that is something that is right with the world.
They're transported to an infinitely long closet filled with tweed jackets that have
Oh yeah, record
elbow
players,
pads.
Yeah.
tube amps,
And it just has that scent, you know?
what is
Just kind of, I'm having a full circle moment because we were just talking about how far-reaching and inward-deeping this industry is, and I wonder if yet the band that will play for us tonight realizes that they
don't know
like
it yet.
one event away from being in the auto industry.
Right. Yeah.
right? Third one, you're in.
Like, you're in.
This is number
Lifers.
2.
They're gonna be at Digital Dealer being like, I kind of fell backwards into the industry.
I was in a band,
And now the
playing
now I'm up in the tower, and I just love this. I love it. I love having conversations like this. Gosh, when we started the Dealer Playbook, I think we started like so many shows where it was like, oh, it's about marketing and sales, and what's the 1, 2, 3s of sales that you could and we naturally moved, like you said. I feel like I have been on this track for a long time, as the both of you have, and it just, somebody pulled a lever. It was probably you, pulled the lever, and all of our tracks went like this. And I just feel like there's so much magic happening in that. It's been a beckon cry to the industry that, hey, we can meet here, we're safe here, we can grow together here. Culture matters, community matters, people matter. You're wearing the love people more than you love cars shirt. And so when you hear stories like this, this is really, I think, the desire that I have, is to bring more and more information like this out there. And I sure know, like, we hear from Auto Collabs, we do that show together, and what you guys are doing in the morning show with Troublemaker. There are more and more people standing up from the far-reaching scopes of this country.
We're starting to hear more jazz.
Let me say,
Starting to hear more
and
jazz.
to that, today, this was exciting, tragic and exciting all at the same time. We were talking to an executive at one of these stores, and I won't give it too much away because it was a side conversation, but essentially we were explaining what we were doing with the show, the way that we just did the show that is going through these stores. And his kicker line, which everyone got a good chuckle at, was, "Oh wow, so you're doing the impossible."
Yeah.
Yo, which is like, if you want to dissect the English language about
Right.
the way that he said that, is so perfect for what we're doing. Is like, we are, like, are is a form of
Yeah.
being that
Yeah.
is not a try,
It's
but it is a
happening.
do. We
Yeah.
are doing, which is the active pursuit of the reality, the impossible, which means that we're making that impossible possible by the active pursuit of doing it. And I really believe, and to anyone that listens to this that might have this shadow of a doubt that's like, yeah, all of that talk sounds good. Good try. Maybe you'll get there one day.
Yeah.
Like, we are doing the impossible, and we're starting, like you just said, we're starting to see these things pop up, and people finding the others and feeling like home and understanding what it means to communicate that this is family. And all of those little micro things are happening across the country and across the world, honestly. And that draft is starting to move all in that same lane, similar to the way that R3 has. And like, we are doing the impossible.
Wow, that's
There was a time
Dang.
when the scientific community believed that your heart would explode if you ran a mile faster than 4 minutes.
Come on now. Give it to him, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
to
It was impossible until one person did it.
Yeah.
And then the next year, how many people did it the next year, right? They started stacking up.
And now it's the norm. People are measuring against.
Oh,
the
yeah.
4-minute
If you
mile
can't
all
run a
the time.
4-minute mile, then you're not really a miler.
Wow. I love this conversation. I love you guys. We always have fun together. We laugh. We make fart noises, and we talk about some deep stuff sometimes.
All at the same time.
All at the same time. We are doing the impossible. Thanks for hanging out with me here in Arlington. We're gonna blow the roof off of this place later
we are.
tonight. It's gonna be so much fun. Appreciate doing it with you both.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.